Now that we know a live-action Aegon the Conqueror prequel show is in development, though not greenlit yet, and I've been seeing some really, really horrible fan castings. I'm so sorry. Some of these are so bad. I want to talk about some of them, at least the horrible ones, and give my opinions on it because, why not? So first, let's get a quote from the man himself, George R. R. Martin, about how Aegon should look. So George said this on the first Targaryen king. Aegon the Conqueror, the prototypical Targaryen, a warrior, tall, powerful, broad-shouldered, very charismatic and commanding. Should be shown in his battle armor, perhaps a shirt of black scales, greaves, gauntlets, a flowing cloak, his sword in hand, Blackfire, a Valyrian steel blade, his hair cut short, no longer than the bottom of his ears. His crown is a simple circle of Valyrian steel set with big, square-cut rubies. Besides this quote, George further explained through interviews and of course his lore books, World of Ice and Fire and Fire and Blood Volume 1, that Aegon is an enigma. He's a solitary person whose only friend was his maybe half-bastard brother Orys. Harsh to those that crossed him, but generous with those that submitted. A great warrior, but never entered tourneys. A faithful husband that left the running of the realm to his wives, and he only kind of interjected himself into things when it was necessary. Now, what I find interesting is Aegon the Conqueror's mother was actually a Velaryon. She was from House Velaryon, and in the show, they now have dark skin. So does this mean we'll see an Aegon closer to what we saw with Laenor and Laena? Now, if they didn't want to go that route and explain why Aegon is super white, they could just say, in lore, Corlys Velaryon's father married an unknown woman, so we don't know if she actually had dark skin. Maybe she was a Summer Islander. We don't know. So maybe the Velaryons were always white, because if you look at Jaehaerys, he has a Velaryon mother, and he is very, very white. Maybe just Corlys Velaryon's father married someone with darker skin, and that's why we see them with darker skin in the show. I don't know, maybe they'll come out and say that. If we get the Sea Snake animated series, I'm sure we'll be able to see his mom, and that would be really cool if they explain it that way. Regardless, because of that possibility, I'm going to include a few actors that could pull off Aegon that have a mixed ethnic background, just in case they decide to do it. Honestly, just pick the best actor for the role. So let's start with, I swear, everyone's pick for Aegon, Henry Cavill. Personally, I think Henry is a horrible choice for Aegon the Conqueror. If you want this, stop. Get help. It's not too late for you. We all want you to get better. 10 years ago, Henry, 100% I can see it. And I think from what we've seen of Henry's acting abilities, he'd crush it. But now he would be a 40-year-old playing a 27-ish-year-old Aegon, especially considering by the time of filming, and if they do multiple seasons, Henry would then just not be pushing 40. He would be mid-40s. It's just that's stupid. I understand we live in a world where late 20s people are playing high schoolers on television and in movies, but I think most of us can tell a mid-40-year-old man from a late 20-year-old man, and if you can't, bless your heart, you're too good for this world. Honestly, if it wasn't for his age, I would have loved for him to play Maegor the Cruel. He would have just added so much depth to that psycho. So yeah, I'm gonna say please don't cast Henry as Aegon. His time has passed to be able to do that. Let's find someone else. In the same vein, I've seen a lot of people talking about casting Charlie Hunnam. Now, 10 years ago, again, same with Henry, he would have been an amazing Aegon. But he's a mid-40s individual already, and he's aged out of the role. If they even started, let's say 3-4 years from now, it's just he's gonna be pushing 50. I would actually say that he would be a better Aegon than Henry. Overall, I'm super bummed that Charlie isn't a bigger actor considering how talented he is, but I know he's tried, just sometimes it doesn't work out. Continuing with people I wish were 10 years younger, so I didn't have to say I hate these fan castings. Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth are included because, they would be good picks, but they're just way too old at this point. And I'm not calling people in their 40s old, I'm just saying too old to play the Conqueror. If I had to pick between the two Chris's, I would say Chris Hemsworth would be the better fit for the role. Continuing on with the age thing, Alexander Skarsgård, he would be absolutely perfect to me. His physicality, his acting ability, just his general look and expressions would have been what I consider a near perfect decision for Aegon. But again, mid-40s guy playing a late 20-something-year-old, not a good idea. People that keep fan casting him, stop it. Same with Travis Fimmel. He is another rabid casting that doesn't work due to age, but works on paper with everything else, so it is a bummer. Jesse Williams, he has the piercing eyes. I feel the presence that would be great for Aegon, but again, age problem. Now, there is a borderline age issue, but I've seen for some people calling for Robert Pattinson to be Aegon, and at 37, he could maybe play Aegon if they started soon. I still don't think it would be a good idea. He has the build, see the Batman, and pulling off serious introverted warriors is something he could definitely do. Still, he's only 3-ish years younger than Henry, and going higher than 33 seems to be asking for issues. Now, there are some fan castings that work based on age, but I still just absolutely hate them. One I've seen a lot is Jamie Campbell Bower playing Aegon. The guy just seems way too gaunt to me and wiry to play Aegon, even when he has packed on muscle. I'm not saying that he's not a super muscular guy. He is, but he just doesn't have that general look. Playing Dany's brother, I think he would have been perfect at. Aegon the Second even? Yeah, I would buy that. The Conqueror, no. Not a reflection on his acting or his skill. I just don't think he looks right, even if he put on 20 plus pounds of pure muscle. Oh man, this one might get me in trouble. I have seen so many people asking for Timothée Chalamet, and I don't mind him. I actually didn't know him by name or realize how fanatic his fan base was until Dune. Then I went down a rabbit hole of, Jesus, his fans are intense, and those that love him really love him. I'm pretty sure they would sell him their soul if he was like, hey, I want to give your soul to the devil for $10, and they'd be like, yeah, sure, take it. I've seen his fans swarm like a kettle of vultures, ready to pick the person's carcass clean for daring to say anything against their god King Timothy. It's pretty funny stuff. That being said, I think he has the same problem Jamie Campbell Bower has despite being the right age. He isn't built or big enough physically, or he just doesn't have the presence to play the Conqueror. I guess he does have experience with playing characters with world-saving visions, huh? Next, Tom Holland's name has been thrown out there, and yes, he's a great actor, and yes, he is built. But he's also very small framed, and at 5'7", I think that's too small for the Conqueror. I know he's about the right age and he could pull off the Stoic King, and I think that would be really not too far out of his wheelhouse. I think he could pull it off believably, but again, just he doesn't have the general build for it. Jacob Anderson has been put forward, and while the right age, my god, he looks like a little baby. I don't think there's anything in the Conqueror of him despite his acting ability. In general, he just doesn't have the right look. Lastly, Alex Anderson, best known from the Vikings, has the age, ability, and presence. I do agree with people saying that. I just don't think he has the right look for Aegon. The maniac Maegor? Hell yes. He should be on the short list for playing Maegor the Cruel. Okay, so now that I've said actors I don't like and possibly enraged some people, which of these actors I hate for the role of Aegon the Conqueror do you actually love? And what actors have people been putting forward for Aegon that just isn't on your list and you really, really hate?